Live from high atop Scott's social media studios in the heart of the Cedar City, just outside of America's Music City. This is SEC Football Review with your hosts, Michael Clay, a healthy Michael Clay, and Jared Scott.
That's right. How you doing, Jared?
Man, how good is it to have you back, Mr. Clay?
It feels good to be back.
Very good to have you back, my friend.
Being sick was not fun, and then doing the show calling in was not really fun.
Yeah, it wasn't fun for me either.
I bet.
I mean, I like having Michael Vick as a co-host, but, you know.
Yeah. He did a good job filling in. I appreciate him filling in there. There's the audience. Welcome, audience.
See, they're excited to have you back. I mean, that's like immediate response times.
Yeah, real imaginary audience.
And,
carrying on.
We upgraded our equipment a little bit to try to make sure that our feeds stay live for folks so that they don't see any dropping. And, I mean, everything looks like it's going a lot faster. What do you think?
Yeah.
Says stream is healthy, and then as soon as I say something, I start spinning.
I saw that too. But it's saying healthy, so maybe we're good.
Maybe we're good.
I'm not worried about it. But yeah, it is good to be back there. We're getting down. Conference championships coming up this week. We've talked off on the phone in the past week or so. I've talked to guys at work about who's going to make the college playoff. I'm excited to talk, debate. Hopefully I don't get too excited about it and argue. But it's fun, though. That's what makes it fun. And there's some very exciting people this week has been good. People were throwing their opinions out there, some I agree with, of who should be in. I think Alabama fans are catching a lot of heat. Or Alabama, because they're talking about the committees are going to catch a lot of heat, right?
Oh, yeah.
If they get in, and part of it I agree. And then I found a clip, I'd send it to you.
Well, and you've kind of off mic have expressed to me a little bit about your feelings about a team that's had 3 losses.
Yes.
I mean, I've never seen you almost ripped my head off about that.
I talked at work.
You need to have some. Where's my nuts?
Your wife has them?
Here we go. No. I brought them. They're in a bowl today, and I got lots of them. So.
I am the champion. I am the champion.
The problem with these is that apparently you got to like tear them open.
Oh, yeah, you got to,
Like this was not even giving me. This was giving me all kinds of garbage. I can't even get these things open.
No,
There we go.
Pistachios are good, but we would just be focused on them and probably lose concentration when we're talking about.
I'm going to focus on them while you talk. Okay. How about that? Our resident Notre Dame fan is already on.
Yeah. But also, though, in general, and I don't care if it's in the SEC, Big Ten, your 2 big good conferences right now, if you got 3 losses, you don't deserve to be a champion. I'm sorry. You don't. In case in point, Alabama beat Vandy or Oklahoma. Beat one of those 2. Be 10-2 right now. A championship team should be in only 2 losses.
Well, in Oklahoma that was unheard of. That was
You lost to 2 500 teams.
Yeah, I don't know what to say on that one.
Yeah, they don't deserve to get in. Sorry. That's what you say.
But we've already talked about this. I mean, ultimately, this is really a money play, right? I mean, that's what we're really talking about here, right?
That's
because Alabama is what you remember those stats we looked at really early on viewership, like the number of viewers, and it seemed like, and I think we re-looked at that again, and it's like the Bama games were way up in the ranks, and Georgia was way up in the ranks. I mean,
I think. If we're going to get in, go ahead and talk a little bit, because tonight we're picking conference championship games. You can pick along with us. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yep.
But so SMU, in that case, if they lose, I still think they have to be in. You can't punish SMU for losing a championship game.
Well, and you mentioned a clip. Do you want me to go ahead and roll the clip?
You can. Also, I would say if Penn State, if you're going to drop SMU out, You got to drop Penn State out if they lose the conference championship game. I'll say it right then.
That's a big
And we
statement.
can compare, we'll compare schedules, and that's what I'll tell you why.
Well, we'll take a look at that here in a little bit when we start talking about the games.
Yeah.
But Michael brought up a little clip. Apparently, there's some coaches that are already pissed off about everything that's happening. You want me to go ahead and roll the clip?
Yeah.
The narrative of college football right now is really screwed up, and I'm gonna kind of talk about that. It comes down to a patch, I guess, that's on your jersey, because stick with me. If Texas wins the SEC, that means a Big 12 team from last year won the SEC.
Boom,
If
shakalaka.
Oregon wins the Big 10, that means a Pac-12 team won the Big 10. And if Arizona State, now whoever's playing, but Arizona State's got a chance to play in the Big 12 championship, so that means a Pac-12 team won the Big 12. And then if SMU wins the ACC, that means an American team won the ACC. So I think it's absolutely embarrassing what this football committee and, we got to back up what we need to do on the field so they get pissed off at me. But it's absolutely embarrassing what they're doing to this conference. And if they look at it that way and they sit there and say, who's playing the best football, who's the most competitive conference, who week in and week out, what you see on tape, and the games that you got to play, I think the Big 12 should be in. The Big 12 champion should be in the Final Four, right? And then when teams are talking about multiple teams, depending on who plays in that game, they should have multiple teams. I think it's absolutely ridiculous what is happening at that. Man, I think the narrative.
So that was Texas Tech's coach. Is that who that was?
Texas Tech's head coach.
And so
He has a good point.
say he does.
He has a good now.
Considering that the teams that are expected to win the Big Ten and the SEC are teams that last year were not even in the Big Ten or the SEC.
And not only those, he listed every conference championship
Every
game
conference champion
could be won by someone that just joined.
joined that conference. And, there has always traditionally been, right? You and I have already talked about this, right? There's always traditionally been a power thing with regards to the whole SEC powerhouses, Big Ten powerhouses. But now all of a sudden we're in this world that's NIL
Yeah.
and the transfer portal.
Yeah.
And the transfer portal, like in the past 2 weeks, has been shuffling up the deck.
Oh yeah. And now one thing I would disagree a little bit with him. He has his big main point, I agree. But he tried to say, top to bottom of these other conferences were good. No, I just think the good teams joined these bigger conferences. They were already pretty decent teams, right? It wasn't like
Well, they were the leaders of their conferences, right?
Right. So-
it wasn't like they were like nobodies and they just came out. Although you could probably argue for SMU to be like it's a nobody that came out of nowhere.
yeah, they're the main one that came
And
out
a
of the lower
Vanderbilt.
conference. Yeah. Oh, the dog.
The dog thought that one was
The dog liked that one. Yeah.
Every now and then the dogs get all excited.
Oh, look, Reagan gets all butthurt. Texas Tech is horrible. They were 8-4. Not bad.
8-4. They were one game away from an Alabama schedule.
Yeah, only one game less than Alabama. One win less. Yeah.
It's okay, Reagan. It's okay.
Also, see, Penelope or Eric says 3 lost teams should be automatic no invite.
Yeah, and that was kind of what you had said.
Yeah,
If you've lost 3 games, it should be over. And that would make Texas Tech in the same category.
right. Yeah.
And he wasn't arguing that Texas Tech should be in
that's
it.
the thing. He's not arguing for his
He's not
team.
arguing for his team. He was just arguing that, hey, we need to be talking about what the situation really is.
And I can see, Big 12 could be a little mad about it because, they're showing Boise State over. He was saying the Big 12 champions should be in the top, get a bye, right?
Yep.
And I would agree over Boise State.
Yep, I agree.
Because if you want to start looking at their schedules and all
Yeah,
that.
let's start looking at strength of schedule and so on and so forth.
Then the point he's got a great point
Yep.
on that. But
Well, and this is what I wanted to talk about as well. When we start talking about NIL, I saw this and I was just like,
so funny.
I love Livy. She's something right there. She's something. But I mean, these numbers are just outrageous, like crazy numbers.
okay, you got it up there so they can see it. Yeah.
I want folks to be able to see this, right? I mean, we're talking about $6.2 million. Okay, and this goes back. You remember the conversation we had about the call where Shador and Dion and Tom Brady were all on the same interview, same podcast interview. Do you remember that conversation we had?
Did we have that?
Maybe we didn't. Maybe I was dreaming. Maybe I was dreaming
I don't
about
know. That or I got COVID brain still.
Maybe I was dreaming about it. Oh, maybe I was just drinking some Duff beer. That's what it was.
There you go. Yeah, no, I don't recall. I mean, it could have happened. I can't argue that you didn't tell me.
Well, so the story goes, and if I've already said this story in one of our previous shows, I'm sorry, folks, but the story basically goes that the three of them were on a podcast, and this is Shador Sanders, Dion's son, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Deion Sanders and Tom Brady, and I don't remember all the specifics of it. I just remember it seemed like Shador said something about his Rolls Royce or Lamborghini or something like that, and Tom Brady said, "Well, I mean, you shouldn't be running around campus with a Rolls Royce or a Lamborghini or whatever it was." And Shador goes, "Well, you've got one."
Yeah.
Right? And Tom's like, "Yeah, but how many Super Bowls have I won?" Right? Like, you're a college kid that's like a junior or
he hasn't
sophomore.
earned
See,
anything.
you've not earned anything.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
and
hilarious.
what shocked me about the whole conversation was Dion just kind of sat back and said nothing.
Yeah, that's surprising.
And I'm like, whoa.
Well, and maybe it might have been one of those that, you know, how your kid doesn't listen to you.
It might be.
And it may have been, I want him to hear Tom say this.
Maybe.
Maybe one of those.
Maybe. Well, and I mean, when you're paying the kids $6.2 million,
That's crazy, yeah. But it make good for her. Livy Dunn's number 2 at 4.1 million.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's funny.
She's
That's
not
awesome,
like the, but I mean, if you look, right, when you look at the stats on this,
Yeah.
Shador's got 2.8 million followers. Travis Hunter's got 3.3 million.
I see.
Arch Manning's got 370,000 followers. Livy's got 13.7 million. 13.7 million followers. Now,
Well,
I mean, I'm sure they're
lots of
following her for all of her athletic ability, right?
and intelligence.
That's right. Livy, let's be real. Like,
Yeah.
you're smoking hot, and a lot of people follow you for that, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. She's a great athlete too, right?
Well,
so it helps that you got the combination there.
She's got,
But that's where her price tag comes
Yeah.
from, right? I mean, she's exposing 13.7 million people to whatever product she's talking about.
Yeah, no.
Kind of
Well deserved.
like why we only get a penny.
Did we get a penny?
Well, I got a penny last week.
You got to give me half a penny then.
That
Dave.
penny went into our upgrades.
Oh, okay.
That cost me like $1 million. So
Man, you got a penny took care of the upgrades. That's
I found it in the couch whenever I was.
Yeah, I said it come out of my pocket.
That's where it came from. I knew it came from somewhere. I knew it did. That penny came from somewhere. It came from your pocket to my couch.
Yeah.
And then I got it and thought that somebody dropped it off from the show.
That's how it was one of the.
It was one of our
imaginary
audience. I mean, our
members,
audience.
Yeah.
They were just all too excited about it, right?
Yep. That's right. They ain't laughing at that. They're clapping.
That's right. That's right. They contributed their one penny to our show. So
Well, that's what we charge.
Speaking of pennies, right? So the other big thing is, right, we figured out, so we think we maybe have figured out how to create swag.
Oh yeah, we are talking. That's something we can let them in on.
So we're working on, just so everybody knows, we're working on creating a swag
a little down the
portal.
road, maybe, but
A little bit down the road, and we've actually had some folks that have asked
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, this is not us trying to. I mean, we were talking about signing PBR cans, right? I mean, we're not talking about. We're not talking about like we weren't talking about fancy swag, but you know, if folks want fancy swag, we're going to try to deliver. You know, and we're not going to be like trying to make hand over fist, right?
No.
We're just excited that somebody wants to run with our brand.
If you want to wear it, that'll attract attention, hopefully, and get more viewers. We would love it. But yeah, it's still kind of in the early planning work stage.
Well, we've talked about maybe a rebrand as well, so we can expand the show or do other shows as well. So
yeah, because
outside of the college football world, because you know college football world's gonna slow way down come January, right?
So we're looking at continuing the show and just kind of expanding what we talk about. Still sports, entertaining, just laughing, but we can kind of go where we want to go. We got a couple people that said they'll
wear it to the Jason says he's gonna wear it to the train.
Yeah, there we go.
Pablo Mac's gonna buy it off of us.
Couple exciting things to share with everybody.
He wants some. Reagan wants some NBA Jam shirts with our faces on.
Dude, that would be cool.
Take like an NBA Jam image and stick our heads on it.
Yeah. Well, you know, like when they.
That's
I know
great.
what he's talking about. Yeah, that's awesome.
Boom shakalaka.
That's right. But yeah, so because we're having fun, ultimately just doing this.
We're just trying to figure out a way to keep it going.
Yeah, just keep going.
Man, I'm getting hot.
We enjoy it. Yeah, it is
All the
warm in here.
lights. It's because we
got fired up. College playoffs here. There's a lot to talk about and argue about, so we're a little bit fired up.
Oh man, I'm getting
Are you
all sweaty.
leaving?
Yeah, I'm burning up. Hang on.
Gee whiz. So yeah,
Leaving the show.
this is show 13, by the way. Lucky number 13. So
we we're getting too hot. Too hot to handle up here.
That's right. Get a little air going in here.
Gotta get something going in here.
So
Probably my PBR that's causing my hot flashes.
but yeah, just a lot going on. The NIL thing was something Jared wanted to share. We kind of talked about it. It's pretty crazy.
We talk a lot off mics because we're trying to prep for the show, and as we're doing show prep, we try to preserve things for the show itself, but sometimes we just forget. So
Yeah. Yeah, we can go down a rabbit hole pretty quick and get lost. We're good at getting off track.
yeah, our Georgia State conversation was very interesting.
Yeah, I know it.
We're gonna probably do a whole episode on Georgia State.
So yeah,
the history of Georgia State.
as the college football season ends, like we can spend more time, talking about that.
Reagan says I'm going through menopause already, huh?
Yeah.
I need to have a pistachio.
I
For
got
that.
an old woman here next to me.
Yeah. Yes, yes, you do.
So Eric brings up a good point. Signing day has lost its luster.
Yeah, because it's not real anymore.
No, well, they do one now. It was yesterday.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean anything.
And then February, it's the first Wednesday in February, it's still a signing period, but because...
What really matters is the last day of portal time.
Good point. Yeah.
And that was the big thing. So I don't know how many people are following the Pavia case. But the judge was focused on what the last day of the portal being open was.
He was what now?
So one of the questions that he asked the lawyers was, what is the last day of the portal being open?
Oh. Well, so
who knows why, right?
I know why. Because it's... Towns, I don't know if he's watching, but we've had this conversation. We think if he wins it, he might not come back to Vandy. He'll go...
He may go someplace else.
Yeah.
Get more money.
Because it's not... Yeah.
Pablo Mac, to answer your question, I am wearing a Scott jersey, baby.
It's his own... Yeah. Oh, there... Yeah, we can see it.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to promo. I don't even remember who I bought it from, but...
Oh, that was a bench player. So that Scott guy never got in the game.
Never got in the game. That's an understatement. Bench player is an understatement.
He was a bench water boy.
Yeah.
If a water boy got hurt, then he'd get in.
He was the guy in the nosebleeds. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I remember that there was one of those games when I went to when I was in school there.
Yeah.
And I was on the front row of the upper deck of the student section used to be huge because they literally would let every student come to the game. Mm-hmm. So they had enough seats to fill the whole student body in the football game.
Really?
Yeah, they would. There was no lottery or nothing like that, and so the student section was huge. And I'm trying to remember what game it was. It may have been Florida, and I was on the front row of the upper deck, and I remember the stomping at the game.
Oh yeah.
And there was so much stomping that I could feel the concrete shaking.
Yeah.
Like I was like, "Oh my gosh, this place is gonna fall down." And that stadium's old.
Oh yeah.
And
It is
that
very
upper deck
old.
is like
It's very
sitting
old.
way up
yeah,
there.
Neyland is very old. I don't know exactly when it was built, but yeah. But
Tom
yeah,
would know
so-
if he was only watching the show. Who knows?
That's right.
He's probably slacking off on us tonight.
But not only is the conference championship games, we're talking too. So it's a big weekend. Sunday, they'll announce bowl games where people were playing.
Oh, you didn't wear your Vandy bowling shirt today.
I will next week when they figure out where they're going.
Once they know where they're going.
And in that, we're not going to talk about the
I
conference
wish
game,
we
but-
put I should have taken more time to try to figure out a way to put that in
Well,
the
guess
survey.
where I saw today they're projected to play.
Vandy gonna play Music City Bowl?
No.
That would be like boring.
Yeah.
Citrus Bowl, maybe?
And no, Music City Bowl now gets a little better pick of teams.
Oh, do they?
It was like Iowa and Texas A&M, I think.
Oh, that's pretty
projected.
good.
And I was looking at Sports Illustrated. I mean, they probably all have different ones, but showed in Louisiana. I can't remember the dang town. They always host a bowl game.
Is that the Tax Slayer Bowl?
I don't know. It's in Louisiana. I can't remember now. Shreveport. But they had them playing Army.
Oh, Town says it's the
Vandy and
Gasparilla
Army.
Bowl.
Yeah, they actually had. I can't remember who I saw. And like I said, I was looking at Sports Illustrated's projection. So I mean, I bet if you looked at 4 different ones projecting where they're going, that's in Tampa Bay, Gasparillo.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh man, they got a cool logo,
Yeah.
like pirate swords.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. But yeah, they would play. My point was they're playing. They had them projected playing Army, Vandy and Army, which would be kind of cool. I know a guy that works in the athletic department at Army.
This is in Louisiana.
Yeah, Shreveport.
Independence Bowl. Is that the right one?
Yeah, I don't know if they still
Shreveport?
call it. Yeah, maybe
In
it's still
Independence Stadium.
called- Yeah. I guess it is.
The
still called
Radiance
Indep-
Technologies. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything's sponsored now, right? So.
Yeah, but no, I think it'd be cool if they played Army.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
That might be. Maybe we go to that one.
Yeah, it'd be December 28th. That's a Saturday if they went. You could drive down on Friday, go to the game Saturday, come back Sunday. It's doable. I don't know if I can, though. I think my aunt and uncle's having a Christmas thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Daryl will be in town too. Maybe we'd make a whole huge group road trip.
It would be cool.
That'd be exciting.
Um,
Now that Vandy is gone bowling.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll be wearing my bowling shirt a little more often here in the next few weeks.
Yeah, Reagan says Independence Bowl, question mark. He was right. Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
For some reason,
I
I
thought
thought
they
the Independence
changed it.
Bowl was like in Memphis. What's
No,
the
that's
bowl
the
in
Liberty
Memphis?
Bowl.
Liberty Bowl. Liberty
Yeah.
Independence. That's why they're pretty, pretty close
that's
there.
close. Yeah.
Pretty close in concept.
I like to have both Liberty and Independence.
Priorities in life, Michael. Priorities in life.
They were late laughing at that. But yeah,
That's what
man.
happens. It's because they like turtles.
I like turtle.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, they're a little slow.
Now, Michael, that's not politically correct.
Turtles are slow. Turtle? Yeah. What's up? What?
I thought you were saying that the audience was slow.
Yeah, like turtles. Our real imaginary audience.
Oh, the real imaginary audience is slow because they like turtles.
Turtles, yeah, because turtles are. God, I didn't know I had to draw the picture of the joke out for you.
Working on it.
Golly. Jeez. Boo you, man.
Here's the 411, folks. Say some gangsta is dissing your fly girl.
Yeah.
You just
That
give him
was
one
bad,
of these.
dude. That was, I mean, I'm like, what happened to Jared? It's like
Yeah,
he
it's
blanked
been a
out.
long day at work, man. You know,
Yeah.
some of us have to work for a living.
I work. Good question here. Do you think Diego will play in a bowl game?
So just so you know, after doing a little bit of research on because the Diego Pavia thing, the court case, really fascinating.
You're what? Yeah, you
I'm
brought
watching
that
it
up.
close.
Yeah.
And he actually, so the attorney said that Diego was planning to go to law school at Vandy. Mm-hmm. And that he
Okay.
wasn't going to be transferring.
Okay.
That he was going to stay with Vandy.
Yeah. I'd say that too if I had a lawsuit going.
But yeah, I mean,
But yeah, no.
I think it was
That
the
would be
exact
great.
statement was something about he was going to apply to Vandy
Yeah.
Law School. or
Because
whatever.
he's not going to go pro. Yeah, he's not pro material quarterback wise. He's not.
I don't know how you define that. Like running quarterbacks are not considered pro material? Because that's really what he
He's
is.
not fast enough though for pro.
Oh, it's a
running.
speed issue.
Yeah.
Because the pro guys are super
Oh
fast.
yeah, those guys that are running court, they're.
I mean,
ridiculous.
was it Vic was a running?
And he doesn't have an arm. Like he struggles to throw it 40 yards.
well, and he's
his
because of his
arm
short, because
Yeah.
his height, he keeps getting
Yeah.
batted down.
And that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying he's not a good player, but he's not a pro player.
Well, and this is his payday.
Yeah.
But
that's
that also
exactly right.
goes towards maybe he's going to look somewhere else. And you know, Vandy did actually
Yeah.
get a new quarterback recently.
Well, I like their backup, Nate Johnson. He's got one more year too.
Was it Towns who was really on all about Nate?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Somebody was all about Nate.
Yeah.
My allergies got my sinuses. all
Yeah,
messed
I'm
up.
not real sure. But we can start easing towards making
Start talking
some
about the
picks.
actual picks and games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll ease towards it.
I think most of our audience now is starting to catch on to
What we're doing.
our little picking thing. But SECFootballReview.com, and then you just simply go down here and click on SEC Football Review Picks,
Yep.
and this will bring up the Nate Johnson is gone. What are you talking about?
Okay. I bet he's probably transfer portal, which would make sense.
I thought so. Pablo says something about Hendon Hooker. I thought Hendon Hooker did get drafted, didn't he?
I thought he did too,
He
but I
sat
don't,
like second or third string. I thought.
yeah.
I don't
I
think he
think
ever
he's
became
in
the
it.
first.
Yeah. I think he's still in
But
the
I thought he
NFL.
was on a bench. I thought he was on
Yeah.
somebody's bench.
I think he is too. If you want to look that up, I'm going to go over the.
Gonna go over
Picks.
who won and how
Yeah.
badly I lost.
Yeah. So big week here. Jared went down. Oh, look at there. The board says he's a loser. I would agree.
What? The board says I'm a
Yeah.
loser.
Who put that up there?
You know, this is jealousy because if we actually did the statistics for the whole season, then I would be a
you'd
rock
way-
star.
Yeah.
You would have no chance. So I don't
Maybe-
know.
Maybe next week I'll go over and kind of add up.
The other thing
Yeah.
is I was trying to give other folks a chance.
No, you weren't. You've said that for the last 3 weeks. You were trying, and you were going 6-3 and 6-2. Shut up! I don't want to hear that. But yeah, so last week's picks: Bobby Sullins, B12. I call him Paw Paw. He's not my real Paw Paw.
Paul.
Yeah, he called in. He went 5-2. He's atop the leaderboard. He would have been tied with Reagan, but Reagan, you actually went 5-2, but you picked after the Ole Miss Mississippi State game had played, and you picked Mississippi State Ole Miss to not cover, which the game was already over. So I counted that against you.
Well, and you know, to be fair, I was pushing Reagan to do the survey.
Okay.
And I think it was already. We were having a conversation, and it was on something else, and then it ended up.
Yeah.
I pushed him to do it. So thank you for participating, Reagan. We appreciate you
But
doing
just
the survey.
know if you pick late,
But folks, if
will
you
be-
pick late, you're going to be penalized for whatever games you already
Yep.
picked that were previously played, and we're just going to mark those as no-goes.
That's right.
He
5-2.
still did well, though.
Yeah, 4-3. Yeah.
He still did great
Uh,
compared.
So we had 5 people at 4-3. Myself, Reagan, Jason Hood, he's starting to pick well. He struggled for like 3 weeks in a row. And then we had a guest picker, Steve Gutenberg.
Oh, Steve
Police Academy.
Gutenberg.
Police Academy.
Wait a second. I got to look up Steve Gutenberg.
Of Police Academy fame, he went 4-3. Then Pablo Mack, this is probably the best he's ever done, as far as I know. He went 4-3, so good for him. He's a loyal watcher and listener. So then let's see, Ellis 3-4, Blank, who's been steady at about 3 wins a week, went 3-4. And then Lowly Jared 2-5. The only one that the only guy he beat this week was his Uncle Nick. 1-6.
Once again, another recruit that I brought in to pick with us. So thank you so much, Nick, for picking in the picks. I appreciate that. So got Steve Gutenberg up here.
Police Academy fame.
So Steve Gutenberg defends Bill Clinton's love of police.
Boy, who doesn't love the police academies, man?
That thing had 9 lives. She just spent them all.
Yeah, those were great movies.
Oh, great movies. Great movies. It's been a long time.
I may have to go back and start watching them 1 through whatever. It was fun,
Man, that might be maybe we do like a watch and talk police.
Police academies for 6 weeks. Watch the first one. We'll review it.
That'd be a great. So once March Madness is over, maybe we could do that, or do like
May's gonna get kind of slow. So
yeah, I mean, watch some movies and just chat it up on the movies. We'll have a whole series of Mike and J Rod watching movies.
Yeah.
Mike and J Rod sit down and drink beer and watch movies.
Yeah, there were like 6 or 7 police academies. There were a lot.
I'm not sure what the rules are around that.
Oh, we wouldn't watch it on air. That'd be the most boring.
They just watch us.
watch a movie.
Watch us listen. Oh, like, okay,
I mean,
sync your movie now. The movie is starting at this moment. You watch it with us.
3, 2, 1,
Let's go.
Dude, that would
be kind of fun, actually. I'm getting hotter, man.
I know what I mean. I think I'm going through menopause too. And
it's been a long time since I've watched those movies. I don't even know that my kids have seen them. You know, there's something about 80s movies.
And watching them,
they're just special.
Yeah, they are. They're
special. That was a time, and I think that a lot of those were like PG, and they really probably should have been PG-13 or even maybe rated R.
Hey, I started watching Big with Tom Hanks with Moxie, and they start talking like, it's a lot of innuendos, right? Not necessarily. Yeah, you're like, oh,
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it must have.
But now I'm sitting here with my little girl, and I'm wondering if maybe this wasn't the right choice.
No, that's right. That's funny.
Yeah, it's the 80s movies were a world of their own, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You want to go back? Let's see. So start the first question on the list.
Yeah, get into the picks here.
So Police Academy should not be PG.
Oh, yeah. And they might have been PG-13. I can't remember for sure.
Yeah, I don't.
And I would agree. They shouldn't be PG.
It should at least be PG-13.
Yeah, and I haven't seen them in a while, but I do remember.
Pablo Mack asks if we played football back in the day.
Backyard football.
Michael's school did not have a football team.
No, we didn't have a football.
And
they do now.
I was too busy being student body president.
Yeah.
And I actually
a cheerleader too, weren't you?
Well, no, I was the flag guy. So what happened was, this is a long, crazy story. So
we don't have to go through the whole thing.
I think I was student. I think this started when I was student body vice president. So I was the vice president my junior year, and then my senior year I was president. And I made this Mount Juliet High School flag with a broomstick and like a little black fabric thing. And back up to the water boy. Yeah. That was me, Jason. That was me without a doubt. And then I would run up and down the side
with that flag.
Yeah. Okay. And then finally they said, "Hey, well, we'll let you fly. We'll let you use the big flag." I mean, I was the president of the school. I had my own keys to the building.
Oh, wow.
And so I ended up getting to run the big flag back and forth at the very end. And I think Mount Juliet, my senior year, actually went to the state championship.
Did they
playoffs.
really?
Yeah.
Would have
I
been
don't think they didn't
96,
win
right?
it,
Yeah.
but I think they went. So it
So
was
short
exciting.
answer, no. Neither one of us
No,
played.
no.
That's awesome.
But I've been around a lot of good football. I mean, Mountain Juliet had a
yeah.
good team.
Yeah.
And then
They
UT
still
was
do.
great in the 90s, right? That
Oh,
was
yeah.
Peyton Manning, T. Martin. That was a good time to be at UT to watch football. So,
We're in the South. Football is just part of life.
well, Vandy in 09 and 08 when I was getting my MBA.
Yeah.
It's not such good football, but
Yeah.
that's okay. That's okay.
So,
Vandy's making a turn now. Vandy's
Yeah.
making a turn. So,
all right.
well, getting back to talking
get into
about
our
stuff.
picks
So,
and survey questions.
when we talk about the survey questions, right? The first question was which game was the most exciting game last week, and instead of doing the full recaps, I just want to quickly kind of talk about these a little bit.
Yeah.
That was so I didn't watch the Georgia Tech loss to Georgia live. But man, when I rewatched that, that was
Did you go-
painful.
Man.
I mean, we it seemed like me and Reagan maybe watched it together, watched the rewatch together,
Yeah.
and we just couldn't stand. We had to fast forward because they kept calling timeouts in the overtimes. and
yeah.
it was just so
it
weird.
Went on and on.
And I was watching another show, and he was talking about how the overtime structure is so messed up,
Yeah.
and so I don't. But I mean, I also remember back. I guess it was one of the longest games in college football history was Tennessee versus Arkansas back
Yes. It went like,
in like '96.
did it go 9 overtime?
I think so, something
Yeah.
like that. But it was like normal overtime.
Yeah,
so
where
they
you put
actually
it
had
to
to
25 and you go.
you had
yeah.
to work it down the field, and I mean it was just went on for forever. And
Yeah.
that game is the reason why Iona refuses to watch a game with me.
Oh, because
My
of-
wife
yeah.
refuses to watch a game with me just because of the fact that was her very first football game. And she's like, I'll never watch a game after that. That was
remember-
terrible.
I
It
remember-
went on for forever.
Oh, it was great. When games get into a bunch of overtimes, I want them to go, like, I don't want them to end. I want to be like 4 in the morning going, overtime 27.
It's starting to feel like the same thing over and over again. And it's even worse with the new structure.
Yeah.
The whole one play go for two, one play go for two.
Yeah. Well, it was to try to speed it up, but I like it. It doesn't bother me. I did like going from the 20. I like it, yeah. I don't have any issues.
You
one
like
way or
going from
other.
the 20.
25. I like it that way. I like going for 2. It either way does not. I just want when it gets into overtimes and when they get 3 or 4 deep, I want it to go 15, 16. I don't want it to end. I love
Well,
just
I
watching
don't
them
want
go
any
back and forth.
timeouts. If we're fighting for overtime, we're trying to end the game. No more timeouts. There's no reason for timeouts.
Yeah.
You just go out and play. You play.
Especially when it's 2-point like all you're doing is one
conversions,
play.
dude. It's the one play
Yeah.
over and over. Whatever
I
your
can
go-to
agree
play
with
is.
that, yeah.
Although I think that was the whole deal was they were trying to figure out, hey, what what play should we be playing to win?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so I don't. But it's just it's hard to watch.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I liked it. So back to but to me, I would pick Georgia Tech.
So Ellis was
Georgia
talking
game.
smack to Vols fans when it was 14.
So that is one of our choices. The
Yeah.
most
So
exciting.
Vandy going up early on Tennessee. That was that. I'm wearing my Tennessee orange today. I've tried not to be a homer.
Yeah.
But man, that had me nervous.
Oh, so the run back at the beginning of the game was exciting. We were going nuts.
Like, where were the defenders, man?
I don't know what happened to him.
It's like they outran the coverage.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
I don't
Like 2
know.
blocks and he was gone.
Yeah. No, it was awesome. And where I was sitting, so
And then Vandy turns around and scores again.
I know it. Tennessee fumbled. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Tennessee looked like they were like Gladeville Middle for like
No,
a
no,
whole
it-
first quarter.
But in the back of my mind, I was like, it's still so early. That
still
didn't make
early.
me nervous. And then obviously, the better team. They just have depth. They're better. And
Well, I mean,
that was the
when you
only
got-
thing they had going is it all happened early instead of like in the fourth. If that would have happened in the fourth quarter, But, they settled in and showed that, they didn't panic.
When Tennessee can rotate 3 defensive lines in and out of the game,
yeah.
I mean, they've got some depth. They got some real depth.
And then the third choice of what was most exciting was South Carolina beating Clemson.
I mean, that was a close game.
Yeah, it was 17-14.
Yeah, and I enjoyed watching.
I didn't get to see that
about that one, I didn't expect those scores to be as low as they were. For some reason, I thought they were going to score more.
Well, South Carolina has a pretty good defense, and I don't think Clemson. I mean,
well, Clemson's going to be in one of the games we're talking about today, so
no,
we'll know for sure here shortly, right?
Yeah, we will.
And there was some crazy things that I was thinking about when we start talking about these games. If certain people win, Alabama may be out cold.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. Yeah, so where we were sitting on that return, we were sitting in the end zone. So UT kicked off, and it was like they were kicking right to us. We were in the third level, and we're standing out.
Oh, is that the new end zone section?
Yes, the completed end zone section. We were in the third level, and it has like a glass wall you can lean on.
Oh, wow.
And we were leaning right there. And, I mean, we were directly behind the guy that caught it. And it was really cool because you saw it develop. He made one cut to the left.
You could see the hole open.
And you saw the two Vandy guys kind of crossed and made these blocks. And it opened. I mean, you saw it. And as soon as it opened up, he hit it.
Like the player, you could tell why he was running that way.
And as a fan, like, as soon as we saw it, we were like, it clicked in our heads like he's going to
take it. He's going to take it to the house.
It was pretty cool to see it from that angle. And
well, the crazy thing is Tennessee rarely actually kicks it to where it's still in play.
I know. Well, I think that was the first run back Vandy had all year.
It might have actually been 1 yard into the end zone, and he still took it in.
No, it was short. Right at the goal line. Yeah, I don't think it was like. If it wasn't deep enough to where he might have been right on one step. But he was running. He was like, I'm gonna go. He didn't think twice.
Usually Tennessee out kicks it, man. I've seen them kick those kickoffs and it's gone through the field goal post, man.
Oh yeah.
It's like no joke. And it seemed like, if I remember correctly, they moved that line up. Used to be you were kicking from further back.
30-yard. They've moved it up to.
They tried to move it up so less people got hurt, right? I mean, that was, I think, the goal. Ellis got that dude's gloves when he went.
Yeah, when we were in Kentucky.
That's the gloves he got, huh?
Yeah, from that dude, from the guy that ran it back, yeah.
That's great. I'm glad Ellis didn't fall off the railing. Did you see that? One of those games, one of the kids was trying to get, I think it might have been an NFL game. They were trying to get an autograph, and the kid was leaning over the railing.
Yes.
And one of the players caught him. And saved his life because I think it was a pro game.
Yeah.
Saved his life. The kid was going to have a snapped neck if he didn't catch it.
Yeah. He felt, yeah.
And then he gave him gloves when he put.
Yeah. That was
that
crazy.
Kid got rewarded. He should have.
Yeah.
Not a good time to reward.
Yeah.
Oh, man, the feed seems to be working good. I'm glad I got the new equipment.
I think it is working real well.
A lot better. Okay.
So, yeah, that's the first question. Next question is...
Open-ended question.
Yeah. Yeah, you can put in what you want.
We're asking, like, which team you feel most excited to watch in the new college football playoff, right? So, looking at who you think is going to be in there, which team you think is the most exciting to watch coming up. Reagan says that was the Chiefs versus the Panthers game.
Yeah, that's right.
The kid fell off the
because it was a Chiefs player, I believe, that caught him. I believe, like an offensive lineman or something. So yeah, what was that again? Read that again. I don't feel like I heard it.
So the question is, which team, right, that you think are going to be in? Jason's like, Notre Dame's my team that I'm so most favorite about. So which team are you most excited to watch in the new college football playoff?
So, obviously, probably if you're a fan of one of the 12 in, you're going to say that team, right?
Yeah.
But, like, for me...
Well, Jason sent me a picture of South Bend. Mm-hmm. I guess apparently they got like 2 foot of snow.
Oh, wow.
This past week.
That would be cool, yeah. Because those games, I want to say, play on the 20th, 21st.
I don't know, but that's going to be crazy.
Yeah. The first round game, yeah.
Vandy's going to be thankful they're playing a bowl game in Louisiana.
So, for me, it would be somebody like, I would be excited for SMU. and Indiana, because those are teams that aren't. They're liable next 5 years never make it again.
Not in the mainstream.
Yeah, so I'll be excited to watch them. They'd probably both lose their games, but
Yeah, but the thing is like once you're in the picture, I feel like recruiting wise, now you've got a chance.
yeah. But also, again, we throw in the portal, transfer portal, NIL deals.
Well, and you look at Florida State, right?
Yeah.
Perfect example
from
of you're
one year
great
to
one
the
year, then
next.
you fall
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah, but which is also cool. SMU back. Remember, they got banned back in the '80s because they were paying players. They were good back in the mid '80s. Yeah. So
Here's the 411, folks. Say
Yes.
some gangster is dissing your
The
fly
gangster
girl.
was dissing
Yeah.
the fly
Just give
girl
one of
on.
these.
so it's taken them that long to get back. They're like, oh, we can pay players now. We know how to do
Yeah,
this.
we know how to do that.
Yeah,
We've done that
yeah.
before.
Yeah.
But Tennessee got caught up in that whole deal where they were giving them bags of money.
McDonald's
bags
yeah.
of money in them, right? So,
Yeah, see the Pony Express.
oh, is that what it was called,
Yeah.
Reagan?
Well, then that's the 30 for 30 on it. You should watch. That was very good.
Oh, there was an actual movie,
Yeah.
like a documentary. on
Yeah,
it.
the ESPN, they do those documentaries 30 for 30. And
Yeah, that one aged well, didn't it?
yeah, it was
Now
very
that
good.
NIL's around, it's like, oh yeah, we're just going to pay him
And
anyway.
if you see some of the play, like they had great players on those teams. And I can't forget the running back at the time. He played for the Patriots when the Bears beat them 55-0 or
So he was the one they paid the big bucks.
him. There were several running backs. It was they had a good team, and would have probably continued on, but like
So the real
penalty
question
they
is,
got
where
was,
have the big schools been doing this all along, and new ways to hide it?
oh yeah,
And now all of a sudden,
That
all
ain't
the
even
little schools can do it too. So now we
Yeah.
get parity.
that's not even that's a simple question to answer. They've been doing it since the beginning of time, probably. But yeah, and then okay. I thought we had another survey question, but no, that'd get into the
No,
picks.
we went straight into
Yeah.
the games, man. Like,
So yeah, let
you
us
don't
know
play.
who you're excited to watch. Reagan, you'll have to pick a team because Alabama's not going to make it.
That's not true.
Yeah, that's up in the air. Who
Not
knows?
true. That's a Bob Barker. Could be one way or another.
Oh, yeah, I think it's
Plus one or
50-50.
minus one.
Yeah, Craig James, that was the guy. That's right. Thank you.
Good call, Reagan. Good call.
So yeah, moving to the first game, and we picked. It's funny to talk about it, Mountain West Championship game, but
Hey,
It is relevant.
It's the Boise.
yeah, Boise State.
So that's the one with the bright blue field, isn't
Yeah.
it? And that's where they're going to play
And
it
they're
too.
playing-
Is what
yeah.
you were saying, right?
Yeah, they're playing at Boise.
The Boise's going to be playing on the Boise.
And it's interesting because UNLV, I think we may have touched on it, but UNLV back probably 2 months and a half, probably 4 or 5 shows, 6 shows ago, UNLV had the quarterback that they were paying the NIL that quit on them, that left.
Mm.
And then look what he left in the second game of the
Oh
year.
yeah, he left early.
And then I'm like, oh, look what they ended up doing.
They still made it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I mean, well, and now he's probably hating himself, right? I mean, whatever happened to that
yeah.
guy?
I don't know. I think Boise, I mean, essentially it is a home game. I think Boise's going to win. They're 4-point favorites. So if you're picking, Boise's a 4-point favorite. So cover or not cover, I'm going to go ahead and take Boise. I did have a theory on this game, but as I read more into it, what'd you find over there?
I'm trying to find out. Hang
Okay.
on.
Well, so I'll tell you my theory on that. Up until I read probably something yesterday and convinced me that theory was not going to come true. I kind of thought that if Boise State lost, they could still get in, but no one's really saying, and the committee's not really leaning that way. which I'd looked at their schedule. I could see them possibly still getting in because their only loss was to Oregon. And it goes back to conference championship game. Do you get penalized for losing? And I don't like that they penalize teams for losing the conference championship.
Okay, so interesting statement here. UNLV Athletics interpreted these demands made by the quarterback as a violation of the NCAA pay-for-play rules, as well as Nevada state law. UNLV does not engage in such activity, nor does it respond to implied threats.
Yeah, he's saying they didn't pay.
UNLV has honored all previously agreed upon
Yeah.
scholarships for Matthew Sluka.
Sluka, yeah. He's saying it's he said, she said, and I think the school's going to win on that one.
Haj Malik Williams replaced Shaluka.
Yeah, and it's done fine. They went 10-2.
Passed for 1,017 yards and 12 touchdowns.
Yeah,
Rushed for 495 yards and 5 touchdowns. He sounds a lot like our boy Pavia.
yeah, he's played well. I mean, they didn't have a drop off, so.
But
But
it
yeah.
doesn't really kind of go into what happened to him. The headline was that he entered the transfer portal.
Yeah, for next year. So because he didn't play. They won't count this year against him. Because he didn't play enough games.
Nobody's done a recent story on him, so I guess
Yeah,
he screwed himself.
yeah, he's not got a lot.
Everybody
of
else
talk.
is like, yeah, you're like screwing everybody for money, so we're
Yeah.
not going to take you.
Yeah, they're not going to touch him.
Nobody wants to have anything to do with him. He may have done himself in.
Yeah. So back to this game, 4 points. Like I said, I think Boise wins, but
Did Boise already beat UNLV in a regular season game?
I think they have. Yeah, they did.
How bad was the win? I don't remember.
It wasn't like a blowout, but I don't like 7-10 points maybe. I don't remember for sure.
They're still keeping the moniker the Rebels,
Yeah, the running Rebels.
like Ole Miss.
Oh yeah, Ole Miss still has. They're Ole Miss Rebels.
Are they?
Yeah, they just don't have the Confederate flag.
They just
flying.
don't have the logo of the dude with the mustache, the white mustache.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're going to get in trouble.
Nah,
Telling you,
because
man.
it's in Las Vegas.
The politically correct people
So
are going to
find the score.
come to Vegas soon enough.
You are.
Boise State beat UNLV 29
Early in
to
the
24 on October 25th.
Yeah, 5-point win.
Who was their other loss? Their other loss was to Syracuse by 3 points.
Yeah.
Man, UNLV's not done too bad, actually.
No, they haven't. But I don't think the only way they get in is if they win. But that's what I was saying while you were looking something else up.
So that's going to guarantee them a spot then.
If UNLV were to win. And that's what I was saying. Does Boise State
Does Mountain
still
West
in?
get guaranteed a spot?
Yeah. It's one of the group of 5. They'll get in. If they win it, they'll get in.
So then the question would be whether Mountain West is going to be. So the Tulane Army game doesn't count for nothing because.
No, neither one of them's getting in.
What about ACC?
We have had the.
So wait a second. So I'm trying to do the
we
math
have
here.
beat a dead
SEC,
horse. I've talked to
Big
you
10,
about this over
ACC,
and over and over.
Big 12, ACC, Big 10, ACC, Big 12,
4
and Mountain West.
is the yes,
So all 5 get in guarantee.
yes.
And Army would have had to have been ranked like number 8.
If Army would have been undefeated, they beat.
Who was it they
if they
lost to?
beat Notre
Notre Dame?
Dame, then maybe they would get in over Boise, but yeah, they wouldn't necessarily be guaranteed.
So now the Mountain West kind of replaced the Pac-12, right?
No,
I thought the Pac-12 was like one of the big conferences.
they were, but it's no longer.
No, but it's still there. There's
No.
still 2 teams.
But it's not enough to be considered a conference. Yeah.
And I thought they had like 2 years still to be able to put
Yeah.
together a conference.
We have talked about this. Yeah, thank you,
Reagan
Reagan.
says somebody used the Men in Black brain erase on me.
Yeah. because I've tried to from the beginning. I told you there were four, the Power Four teams.
Just look at my
in.
picks. That's all that matters.
Yeah, you're focused on picks, and that's about it. Yeah. So,
But the question then becomes, based on wherever they're ranked, whether they get the bye or not.
what's that? Right. Yes.
So, like,
Which
is it going to
some of
be
them
Big
are
12,
projected- Yeah, I think Big 12
Big 12
get it.
ACC, or Mountain West is going to get the bye?
Yeah. I don't think, to me, Mountain West shouldn't get the bye, but they get in, obviously get a spot. But for a bit, until I did a little more research, I was thinking that if UNLV won, then, and this would be where it would hurt Alabama, then Boise State might still get in.
Well, and see, and that was the thing, was I kind of was under the impression that if UNLV won and Boise State is still ranked in the top 12, and then like it was like if Iowa State beat Arizona State, and somehow like that would put 2 spots that get pushed down.
Oh,
Or was it Clemson beating SMU?
No,
Maybe that
that's
was
the
what it
other
was.
one. If Clemson beats SMU, I think SMU should get in still.
So the
too.
crazy mix is if UNL beats Boise State and Clemson beats SMU, that could potentially push Alabama out of the picture.
No, I think this game really doesn't matter anymore in my mind as far as if Boise,
UNLV wins, Boise State's out.
yeah, but it's if Clemson beats SMU, this is where I'll lose my crap if they put Alabama over SMU, a 3-loss team.
Over a 2-loss team.
Yeah, but they're 1-loss now. But yeah, over a 2-loss that lost in the because that's where you get into conference championship.
We got it going on here in the chat.
They're going back and forth. Conference championship game. Why are you getting penalized for a loss?
Yeah, that goes back
And
to that. Well, but see, the only people who get penalized for a loss and everybody gets upset is the SEC and the Big Ten. But that little video clip kind of changed my mind about that because he's right on the money.
Yeah.
Like, Texas was not a traditional SEC team. And this is going to break my heart to do this, but I'm telling you right now, I am rooting for Georgia because I just do not like the idea that Texas comes into the SEC and in the first season they just say, you know what, and their schedule wasn't even all that hard.
You know what's happened before, too, to the SEC. Guess what team did it when they joined the first year?
Who? Tell me. Educate me.
Your favorite team you love to dog, Missouri.
Missouri.
Yep. I
Drinky.
believe.
It wasn't Drinky that was the coach.
No.
No, it wasn't Drinky that was the coach at that time.
Yeah. But yeah,
Missouri won it in the first year,
They got to the SEC championship.
but they didn't win it.
I don't think so. I can't remember who they lost to. They may. I don't think they won it, but they did get to the championship game.
Hello, Google.
Yeah. But I just. I don't see. Because to me, with this, and they're never going to do it. I think I said it last week. Don't have a conference championship game. You got to take those away.
Yeah.
Because then teams are going to start going, why would we want to get into the conference championship game? If I'm like Tennessee's already
Or you
in.
make the conference championship game worth more. And you and I talked about this in the last time.
But you're putting so many more games, and if they expand it to 16 or even more than 12 teams, you can't have a conference championship game no more.
Well, and I've heard the argument that you don't even do it based on conference championship. You do it based on rank. And it's whatever the rank is after the championship.
Well, and here's what, it's like they make it so complicated in Division I. Division II, which they call the FCS or whatever they call
it's
it
just
now.
whatever your rank is, right?
No, they take 16 teams. Yeah. However, I don't think they have conference championships. They take, however they divide, they pick the 16 teams and they play 16-game playoff or 16-team playoff.
This kind of goes back to the whole.
And they've done it forever, and it's worked perfectly. But for some reason, and the reason is money. Bowl games make money. Conference games make money. They think we can't figure it out.
That's going to be the new button. That's going to be the new button. I'm going to play the Money, Money, Money song from Donald Trump's
Yes.
Apprentice show. Money, 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 money.
Yeah. I mean, they can't. It's like they can't figure it out. It's like it's some crazy scientific.
Did you watch that video I sent you about the whole where it's going from the money standpoint?
Some of it, I ain't got all the way to. You sent me so many videos. It's like I had homework.
I only sent you 2.
Yeah, but they're like 92 hours long.
They're not 92 hours long.
Okay, 30.
You know what?
minutes.
I'm going to share them on our Facebook page and let our audience,
that would be good.
audience watch them. I thought they were
For
really
sure.
good videos. One of them was a SEC history of the SEC, but the crazy thing is about that video was it expanded beyond just the SEC because the SEC has been such an integral part of college football, the transitions of college football, the way it's changed over time. The other one was about where college football is going, and he did a really good kind of comparison where he talked about all the other sports and like the things they've done wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, I found that stat on Drinky. That's not
Not
Drinky.
Drinky, Missouri.
Missouri. The
Alabama
coach was
beat 'em.
Gary Pinkel.
Yeah.
It was in 2013, and Auburn beat them in 2013.
Okay. Auburn.
And then
beat 'em.
Alabama beat them in 2014.
So their first 2 years, they went back to back in the SEC East.
So that means that they were screwing over Tennessee and Georgia both those years.
Yeah. So Auburn beat them the first year, and then Reagan said he thought it was Alabama, but it was their second year.
It was their second year, yep.
Yeah. But
Gary Pinkel.
I don't know. The college playoff, I like it just because it causes a lot of discussion and craziness.
Gary
So
Pinkel kind of looks like Drinky.
Maybe it's his step brother.
You know who else looks like Drinky is Freezy.
Brother.
Freezy and Drinky.
I thought you were going to talk about it.
Okay, I didn't want to talk about Drinky. Maybe I do have a crush on him.
You do. I think you secretly, like if he walked through the door and was like, I'm going to take you on a date, you would leave me here going, I don't know how to run this stuff. You would run out.
My secret crush on Drinky.
Yeah. I think so, man.
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Apparently, Pinkel and Alabama head coach Nick Saban were college teammates.
Oh, wow. All right, so we got to nail you down. I'm going to take Boise State cover. They're a 4-point, because you're on a rabbit hole, and you're hard to get out of that rabbit hole, man.
Okay, so Boise State by 4.
And you saw it's liable to be, it's going to be a close game. You saw the previous game was a 5-point game, so.
So the spread is already kind of saying
It's
that.
right there, yeah.
Yeah, it's right on it. Yeah, the spreads were tight this week. Like, I mean, I was just like, holy crap. Like, they're not. All these games are like 50-50.
Yeah.
And UNLV's games have been close. Like, it's not like.
Yeah. I think Boise's going to win it, I think.
Okay, I'm going to go against
It's going to
you.
be tough. Are you?
I'm going to go
Okay.
against you. I'm gonna go.
You're going to say no cover?
And I'm going to fill it out on the survey online, right?
Okay.
So I got to remember how to hit the button here. So just remember when you fill out the survey, I'm going to say that the Vandy run up on Tennessee at the beginning was the most exciting because it made me nervous.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that the most exciting team that I'm excited to watch actually is going to be SMU.
Really?
I mean, Tennessee's in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
But I'm excited to kind of see somebody new in the mix.
Yeah.
Like kind of like what you were saying about SMU and Indiana.
Yeah.
I'd like to see SMU. And, the coach at SMU, like apparently SMU has done great. And now they're just with the big leagues now.
Yeah, yeah. No, they've been good the last few years.
And so they may very well be, like a Cinderella story, which would be exciting to watch. I
Yes,
think.
it would.
I think it'd be
It
exciting
would.
to watch. So, and so I said that, hey, Boise State is not going to cover.
Yes.
And I'm not going to pick a winner one way or another.
I mean, Boise could still win by a field goal.
I would love to see UNLV win because I'd like to see it stir the pot up.
Yeah,
I'd like
chaos.
to see some more chaos.
I agree.
But ultimately, right, I don't know that Boise State, I think it's going to be like by a field goal.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it by
Yeah.
a field goal. So that's it. Bob Barker, hit my Bob Barker.
Do-do.
1 point below, right? So Boise State by 3. Boise State by 3. And sadly, it's not a 4.5, so I can't be by 3.5. So whatever.
You know, sometimes talking to you is like talking to somebody that just got here from France that has no clue about America.
I need some more beer.
And has barely good English, and I'm trying to explain.
Still going through the PBRs. You're going to have to give me another crate of PBR for me. Whenever.
Okay. And you drink them warm.
I do.
Towns would be proud of you.
Oh, that's the big boy way.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right, next
I do like them
game.
cold, but I keep forgetting to put them in the fridge. So
You've kept that 12-pack right there.
I just set it right here. It's called work, man. I got to get back to work. Get back
That's
to work.
right.
Okay, so you're going to start talking about Iowa State now.
Yeah.
We do want to touch on a little bit on the Army game, I think.
Do we?
Yeah, just a little bit.
I think Tulane beats them.
That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to kind of hear your thoughts on this.
I like Army. I'm wishful thinking, but after watching them against Notre Dame,
Man, they're like old school football. They don't know how to do
yeah.
anything other than run the ball.
well, and they don't have size, man. They don't have the size and speed.
But that's the Army way.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the
No,
military
you're
does
right.
not want you to
Yes.
be big. Like they're
No,
not trying
no,
to
they
get you
can't-
big.
yeah.
And these guys are all not. Their primary job is not to play football.
Yeah, no.
When you're going to West Point, your primary job is to become an officer in the Army.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be an officer in the Army, you're going to be lean, mean, muscle
Fighting
machine.
machine. Yes,
right.
that's exactly
This is
right.
not a big boys on the front line type.
Yeah.
But I haven't looked at any Tulane stuff. I'm just kind of curious. I haven't even touched on. Tulane used to be. Weren't they one of the ones that were part of the SEC at one point? in
Yeah,
time?
years ago, yeah.
Did they play Army? They didn't play Army, did they? Army was not on their schedule.
No.
Man, they blew out Navy 35
Yeah.
to nothing.
Yeah. Which is why, Navy some
Was Navy? No, it was Air
Somewhat.
Force that was the undefeated, wasn't it?
No.
One of them was undefeated that Army played.
Navy
them.
was.
Navy was?
No, what?
I thought somebody else was. Another
No.
service was.
Notre Dame played Navy when they were undefeated and beat the poop out of them too.
Ah, okay, that's
and then
what
they
it was.
beat, yeah.
So Navy was undefeated at one point, though.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was
Yeah,
like thinking I was
4-0.
dreaming or something.
No, they were, and then Notre Dame smashed them just like they did Army.
And Oklahoma blew up on. That was this season. Blew up on Tulane, huh?
Yeah.
And Kansas State beat snot out of Tulane.
No, they didn't either. I watched that game.
Oh, it was a
Tulane
close
should have
game?
beat Kansas. Could have, yeah. They were up on them. Yeah. It was close.
South Florida, Louisiana, Raging Cajuns. Isn't that one of the ones that's playing in
Yeah, they're in a conference
AAC
championship.
championship?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, yeah, you're spending time on I'm like, what are we doing?
Going down a
we
rabbit
didn't talk
hole.
about Tulane.
We don't have
and
that many
Army
games to talk
beforehand.
about.
Yeah, but you're wasting. We'll have to run through them by the time we get to them.
Okay.
Tulane's going to win, I think. I actually like.
I'm gonna pick Army just because I'm
Yeah.
an Army guy.
I want them. Like if I watch this game, I'll find
like to
myself
see
pulling
Army.
for Army. Yeah.
Yeah,
My
like to
dad
see
was in
Army.
Army.
Tulane by 5. So
That's the spread. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting. But I think Tulane
Iowa
wins.
State, Arizona State. That's the next one on the list here.
Yeah.
So when we go to pick, let's see, we're picking Iowa State,
State.
Arizona State next. So what are your thoughts on this one, Michael?
It's pretty much a pick 'em. Iowa State went undefeated for a while. I think they were about 6-0 before they lost. I don't know their full schedule. And then Arizona State just kind of.
Kind of getting out of our depth here.
Yeah.
Going outside the SEC.
I don't like get in deep with them. I've watched some games, especially like Arizona State is out west, so they'll be on late a lot of times.
So let's see. Iowa State has beat Kansas State. Let's see. Anybody else that I recognize that were ranked? They beat your Texas Tech guy that was talking trash. I don't see any other ranked wins.
Yeah, I think Arizona State will beat them.
Didn't Arizona State seem like Arizona State had some ranked game at least?
Well, they beat Mississippi State at the beginning of the year. Didn't really beat them crazy either, but they did beat them.
Yeah. It's
They
Mississippi
beat
State, though.
BYU. Arizona State beat BYU.
Oh, that was the big one. That was the big one.
Yeah.
I remember now. Because everybody's talking about, Arizona State is because they beat BYU at the time.
Yeah.
And that was considered their big win. Iowa State really hasn't played that many big teams.
Arizona State or Iowa State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was it that Wyoming? It seemed like Wyoming.
They almost beat Boise State.
That's who it was.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Yep.
I'm going to take Arizona State.
Seemed like in that
Cover.
Boise State
It's 2
game, though,
points.
the was that the one where the running back got hurt?
I don't know. It was only like 2 weeks ago.
It seemed like their running back. Somebody was maybe I was dreaming.
The Heisman guy?
Somebody was saying that the Heisman guy got hurt, and that's the reason why that game was what
a little closer.
it was.
Yeah. I don't
Because
know.
without their running back, they were like nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
So I mean that
that's-
also comes coming back to that Boise State. Right?
yeah. So, guess
Something
what your
happens
big
there.
schools, when they play them, are going to do? They're going to shut him down and make that quarterback, whoever he is, try to beat him.
And they're
if
not
they
gonna be able
can't-
to.
Yeah. They're liable to get blowed out.
Because they're too one-sided.
Mm-hmm. But
Okay, so what's your pick on Iowa State
I'm
and
going-
Arizona State?
I'm going Arizona State. I think they're going to win. And
Arizona State's the only one that's and this is going to be a 50-50, right, with Arizona State by 2.
yeah, pretty much.
I'm going to
It's
say
pick 'em.
Arizona State by 3. Bob Barker.
Oh, I had to.
that's about the way you feel about it. Isn't it?
yeah.
It's about the
You
way
and
you
you
feel
picking-
about it. Bob
You
Barker.
don't have to pick points. I'm going to start holding that against you when you say this is what they're going to win by.
I just like
and
listening
if they
to the
don't,
sound.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's terrible. I know.
No, it's a good sound. It brings back old memories. Your
Old
grandpa
memories.
watched it, right?
Yeah, it's
Price is
old
Right.
memories.
Yeah, so no, that's good. We like old memories here.
Flashback of old memories.
So, yeah. But and now the question would be, and this is what that Texas Tech, that clip we played, the head coach, do they win by, whoever wins this game, does Big 12 get 2 teams in?
Yeah, that was the big drama.
Yeah.
But both those teams are ranked so low.
Yeah, I think
Like the
think
whole
only
thing is
one
that
gets
it's that whoever's not a conference champion, it's based on ranking.
yeah,
And they're not in the 12.
yeah,
right?
because the loser here would
loser here's
yeah,
out.
yeah,
Right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think the Boise State conversation is probably a little bit more interesting, right? Because
Yeah.
Boise State's ranked number 10. Mm-hmm. UNLV beats them.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happens?
Right.
Right? Is it fair to make Boise State be ranked below number 12 now?
I would say no.
I don't
Because
know how
again,
fair that is. You've
I
been
don't
ranked
know.
high all season.
Yeah.
Same thing with SMU.
And up until this point, their only loss in the regular season was to Oregon, Boise State.
Oregon, who everybody
Who's number
thinks is
one in the
one.
country. Yeah. So then that's where I get to, you're getting penalized for a conference championship loss.
That one is going to be a tough one to swallow.
Yeah. Same.
If they screw them.
Yeah, and if they do that to SMU, if they do it to both, I can see it more doing to Boise State. I still don't agree with it.
Well,
But if
Boise
they do
State's
it-
closer to that bubble,
Yeah.
right? They're number 10.
But if they do it to SMU and Boise State and Alabama gets in,
there's going to be hell to pay.
I might not watch.
There's going to be hell to
I
pay.
won't watch any Alabama games. The only game I might watch is like Indiana or that's it. I
Well,
might
and
not
if you watch that video that I
because it
told you
would make me
about,
so mad.
they were talking about how there were a lot of things like what MLB did that caused people to stop watching. Mm-hmm. You do those kind of things, people stop watching.
Yeah.
And then they say, well, I mean, the biggest audience, the biggest money maker is Alabama.
Yeah.
Well, who cares? Guess what? You just lost all the teams that are not Alabama.
Yeah.
Because all of them are going to be like, yeah, forget
It
this.
just-
I'm out.
And I don't care if Alabama's in, if I think they deserve to be in. Don't lose to 2 500 teams. Beat one of them, and I would be fine with you getting in.
Yep.
But you lose to Oklahoma, and Vandy, 6-6. Vandy lost to Georgia State, and you lost to them.
Well, Oklahoma wasn't even bowl eligible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
They got bowl eligible on your game. They beat you to get bowl eligible.
Yep.
And you want to go to the playoff. No, you don't get to.
Well, and, back in the day, right, in the
Yeah.
4-team playoff, that wouldn't even be in the conversation.
Yeah, 3 teams wouldn't even be, yeah.
Wouldn't even be in the conversation.
Wouldn't be even, yeah.
Yeah.
And I know they play a tough schedule, I get it, but guess what? So does everybody else in the SEC. You got several teams with 1 or 2 losses ahead of them. If it was, okay, they're number 3 in the conference still with 3 losses, okay, maybe.
I need to add a button. We're number 3. We're...
But I mean, there's several teams ahead of them. I don't know. I'm not going to like it if Alabama gets in. And not because I hate Alabama, just because of it could have been Vanderbilt at 8-3. I would say they don't, or 9-3, and they don't get in. They shouldn't get in at 9-3.
I think that camera's off.
But I don't know. But that's my rant on that. Where are we at?
We're back to Georgia versus Texas now.
Back going to the SEC.
Back to Georgia versus Texas. We're back to Georgia. When I say back to Georgia, Reagan says so much hate for Bama.
And it's not, look.
It's not a Bama
He's
thing.
going to take it like that, and all Bama fans,
All
because they
Bama
can't
fans
see
will.
past their nose,
That's
are going to
okay.
think that. And that
It's
has
okay.
nothing to do with
Not a
it.
big deal. Not a big
Yeah.
deal. So back to Georgia
Yeah.
versus, and when I
Back
say
to that
back to
scene.
Georgia versus Texas, we've already seen this song and dance once.
Yeah.
So, and this is kind of a recurring theme. I feel
Thank
like
you,
with
Jason
the SEC
Williams.
stuff,
He
right?
agreed with me, by the way.
I know it. The audience agrees with you. I mean,
Yes. Thank you, audience.
they don't ever agree with me. They only agree with you, but that's okay.
They
I
agreed
can
with
handle
you
it.
last
I'm a
week.
big boy. I can handle it.
Man, they're still carrying on.
That's right. They thought I was still funny.
So what is this? Texas is 2.5 favorites. Is that right?
Yep.
Did we look at that right?
Yeah, it's a close.
You're sure?
I told you who I'm going to pick.
Yeah.
We've already talked about this. Texas is not going to cover.
Yeah.
And this is me. I'm picking with my heart at this point. I'm emotional
Yeah.
at this point,
Right.
right?
We're both getting emotional.
We've gone through a whole season now, and I'm at a point where I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. I'm flabbergasted by the whole situation with Oregon and Texas coming into their conferences, and all of a sudden now they're like the golden child, and I just can't get over it. I don't know why I can't get over it. Because I've been brainwashed, right?
See, I don't-
Brainwashed to the point to where it's like, I think, oh, well, the Big Ten and the SEC are the big boys. So the brainwashing has occurred. And so now I can't get past it. So,
I'm not as crazy.
And Oregon beat Ohio State by 1 point.
Yeah.
How did that happen? How do you beat somebody by one? I'm going to have to go back. I don't know if I can watch that game. I should have watched that game.
Yeah, you need to. Ohio State had, I can't remember.
Did you watch that game?
Highlights and stuff, and back and forth, flipping back and forth, if I remember right. I didn't pay big attention to it.
So Reagan says if Georgia loses to Texas, they have 4 losses and shouldn't be in the playoffs.
Georgia doesn't have 4. They only have 2 losses.
They only have 2 losses. This will
So-
be their 3rd loss.
Yeah.
So they'll have the same number of losses as Alabama after they lost in the championship.
Yeah. That's why I don't penalize them for being in the championship game. That's why I say you do away with conference championship games, because you're then penalizing teams for getting there, you're penalizing 2 teams for being the top 2 in the conference. Thank you. Yeah, they would have 3 losses. So, yeah, I don't know what he's thinking. Yeah, you don't penalize a team for making the top 2 in their conference. I really don't. Or do away with conference championship.
Well, you don't penalize the Big Ten and the SEC.
Right. I can agree. Yeah.
That's what they're saying, right?
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
you get to the Big 12.
But I'm
you
saying
get
don't
to
do
the-
it to SMU or even Boise because of their records. They have pretty good records. Because if you're going to penalize it, and this got to my point, I told you I was going to get to this.
But
Look
Florida
at-
State won the ACC. Actually, you could argue, I guess, that
That's
Florida
a
State
14 playoff. They would have
that
been in
caused
it in
this to happen, right? I mean,
No,
somebody,
I think they were wanting to expand. They probably,
you think this is about the money again?
yeah, they used that to go, this is why we're selling, expanding. But Florida State proved, I mean, Georgia rolled them last year. But I still, part of me thinks you should have put Florida State in. I didn't like that because they were on their third string quarterback, that's kind of the main reason they didn't get in last year. That's
Somebody else was
not
on that
fair.
third string quarterback. Who was out? Who else was on that?
I
third
don't
string?
know. But you can't, I don't like that we just start penalizing teams for those reasons. It doesn't, you get all the way to the end and because whatever happened.
But ultimately, though, if you got all the way to the end and you didn't have any losses, and then you lost in the championship, you're going to be in.
Yeah.
But we don't have that being the case.
No, I think you do. They're never going to do it because of money. If you got 12 teams, you're going to go to 16 if you decide to do that. Get away from the conference championship game because they don't mean anything anymore other than bragging rights. The regular season means more now than a conference championship. Winning in the regular season.
Conference championship would mean more if the two teams in the championship had undefeated schedules.
Yeah.
And that's not because of parity. That's not happening
Yeah.
anymore.
But so, because I would argue SMU, if you drop them out, if Penn State loses, you need to drop Penn State out. Because I would argue that SMU has better wins or equal quality wins than Penn State does. And you can look, we don't have to do it right now, but I challenge people to go look at Penn State's wins, not who they lost to. Look at their wins, look at SMU's wins, and tell me they're either the same or SMU might even have better wins than they did. But I'll give you exact same. And Penn State's going to lose and still get in.
But they're Big Ten.
Yeah, but the teams they won aren't squat. The teams they beat.
I'm just saying it doesn't
I know.
matter.
I know you're just playing devil's advocate.
Doesn't
But
matter. It's Big Ten and SEC, man. This goes back to the conversation you and I had early on.
yeah.
We're talking about where this is going.
But
It's going to
okay.
AFC, NFC,
You
man.
can say the same about Indiana. Indiana beat nobody. Their only loss is to Ohio State, a halfway decent team. Everybody else they beat. If Vandy had, I would argue that if Vandy had Indiana's schedule, they might be 10-1 or 11-1. Serious. You look at their schedule sometime. I'm giving you homework.
Yeah, I think they were like one of the lowest strength of schedules in the country.
It's crazy, man.
Well, and that's
Well, and Jason's not going to like this. He's been on my side. Notre Dame. You could say the same about Notre Dame.
that's also part of the reason why, like, a lot of old schoolers say, well, we should still have the divisions.
Like Notre Dame's best win's USC. I think, if I remember that right. Yeah, go back to divisions or do away with the conference championship game.
Yeah, and I think that the elimination of the divisions really made the conference championship weak, in my opinion.
Well, when you,
Because now you don't have people playing the same teams anymore. It's all about whoever gets the good schedule versus
well,
the bad
no
schedule
one,
now.
like, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure, again, this trying to figure out the best thing to tell us who's the best championship is not complicated. Look at Division II and how they do it. I don't think they have conference championship games. They just take the best in however they rankings. I don't know exactly how they do it, but they have conferences. All the big conferences get in that. Like, they've been doing it for years, and they get a champion, and it's usually the best team in Division II who wins it all every year. You want to know why? Because they just say, here, go play the game. We're not going to put in formulas of who we think should, or we're not worried about money. They just say, Here's the ball. Go play. Winner keeps going.
Top
Loser goes home.
16, top 16
Yes,
team
that's
play.
it. They just play football. Winner gets going. Loser goes home and cries. That's it. And here, for some reason, Division I, we can't figure it out. It's
I mean,
all
we're-
brand new.
I don't know. We're pretty close to that, though. I would argue that we're still pretty close to that. Okay, moving on.
Yeah. So,
So you're gonna pick
haven't
Texas
picked.
covers.
I don't know.
You're struggling with this one, huh?
Yeah, because Georgia's like that team that you want to lose, but they won't go away, and they always win. They've become
They don't look good when they play. but
no.
somehow
and then
they still win.
At the very end, they're like, "Oh, we're in a game. Let's go ahead and
Somehow
win."
they
it."
still win.
I'm gonna go. If this makes sense, I hope Texas wins, but I think I'm gonna pick Georgia because I don't think they're going to. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna say no cover.
Boom shakalaka!
You're gonna go with me?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Man, I like this topic.
I know you're fired up.
Yeah. I talked to people at work about this.
Did you?
So excited. Yeah.
I've lost my. I think I'm getting to the point to where I'm like burnout. A little
Really?
bit, yeah.
No, man, this is getting the fun part.
You know, it's the inconsistencies, it's the variabilities, it's the. I don't know. I think the chaos is kind of. I mean, there's a part of me that says I love the chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another part of me that says the chaos creates this confusion. And I really want to have some kind of clarity.
Clarity, yeah.
And I feel like the playoffs is going to deliver that, right? Because it's going to be, did you win or did you not win?
Yeah. Yeah, once you get.
Once we get the playoffs
Yeah.
going, right?
Yeah.
Did you win or did you not win?
Yeah.
When they changed the structure of the conference championship, I think it really took away a lot of what I felt like was the tradition, at least in the SEC.
Yeah.
Of here's the teams
So-
that you face off against every season that are your arch nemesis,
Yeah.
and now all those teams just kind of tossed in the air.
Well, yeah.
Like
So-
not playing South Carolina this year. I don't remember Tennessee playing South Carolina, right? So
No, they didn't this year, no.
I always liked the thought of, oh, we always play South Carolina.
So,
We always play Florida.
yeah.
We always play Georgia. A lot of people would say, well, that's not fair to teams that always have to play Alabama. Well, Tennessee always played Alabama anyway.
Always. Yeah. Yeah, they always, yeah.
Right? So Tennessee was back in the day, we were getting screwed because Florida was good.
Alabama and Florida you had to play every
We
year.
played
Yeah.
Florida, Alabama, and Georgia every year. All
Yeah.
three of those teams are always consistently ranked in the top 5 every year. Mm-hmm. So Tennessee was facing off against, now Florida's down this year, right?
Depending on what time of year you played them. Like, I'd rather have played Florida at the beginning of the year.
But what I'm saying
But
is
yes,
Florida's down
yes.
this year
Yeah.
comparatively,
No, yeah.
right? And so now all of a sudden now Tennessee doesn't have to play these. Although I think we did play all 3 of them, didn't we? No, we didn't play Georgia this year.
He did. You lost Georgia. You played Georgia.
We lost to Georgia,
Yeah.
beat Alabama, and beat Florida.
Mm-hmm.
But see, why should we have to play all of those again?
No, it's going to rotate. You won't play them next year. You might have some, but the schedules will rotate for everybody.
But certain teams and certain rivalries are not going to go away.
No.
Thankfully, Nick Saban's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. But so you're going through that now. When they went to 12 teams, that's when I mourned all the tradition. Last year when they said they were going to 12, I didn't want to go to 12.
Oh, you didn't want to go to the 12-team
No,
playoff.
8 at most. Because I don't think there's 12 teams that deserve to play. To me, there's not 12 teams every year that are going to deserve to be a national champion. Just not. There's no way that this year, there's no way those 12 teams. 8, I can give you 8.
Well, and this year you could argue that there's not but 2.
No, I'd say I think there's more parity and up in the air than there's ever been. But still not enough for 12 teams to
You
be
got one
deserving.
team that's undefeated.
Yeah. And they ain't, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And the one-loss teams that have lost their one loss are not the teams that had like stellar schedules.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But see, this is where I'm going with this.
Well,
Like the teams that lost to other teams were not like losing to Oregon State or losing to Oregon.
well,
They were
Oregon-
losing to nobody.
Other than Ohio State, Oregon ain't played nobody. They played Boise State, but that could still be up in there. Other than that, they haven't played. They didn't play Penn State. They didn't play Indiana. They didn't play. They didn't play great teams in the Big Ten. They played Michigan, but we see what Michigan is.
Well, my understanding was when we moved out of I'm talking about SEC here, 'cause I don't really know about Big Ten, but when the SEC moved out of the divisions, the expectation was that they were going to create schedule parity and that every team was going to be playing the top of the conference and the bottom of the conference. And so you were going to be playing teams that had over the last few years, and there was data analysis behind it and all this other stuff.
That's out the window with
But the NIL and
transfer
portal have
portal.
changed
Yeah,
all of that.
Because
The history doesn't matter anymore.
now I'll say at the beginning of the year they probably thought it was pretty decent in parity because they had Oklahoma and
Oklahoma was expected to be
Right.
a big time team, yeah.
But that and I there's no way they'll be able to ever get that and say at the beginning of each year, especially now with transfer portal and the way people move around. They won't be able to. They can say we tried our best to make it even, but it's just not going to happen. Because you get new players with a new team, they're not going to gel, and it just ain't going to work for some reason. And they're going to go, well, we thought they were going to be good, and that was going to be one of. It's just not going to happen.
Look at Michigan. Look at Florida State.
Yeah, yeah,
Two teams that at the beginning of the season, everybody thought they were great.
yeah. It's just not. You're going to have that, but I mean, again though, it's making it exciting, and
Making you fired up, Michael.
yeah. So
And it's creating chaos.
yes, and that's fun. It is fun. It's good talk.
The circus
Yeah.
aspect of it all, right?
Yeah. My ear itches.
We've
All
been
right.
talking too long already.
No, not really. We're doing all right. We're about to. So where
So
are
you're
we
going to
at?
pick cover, not cover
I
on
said-
Georgia?
I said no cover,
Okay, so
and the only reason
we're
like, I
going the
want
same
them-
on this one.
I want them to lose. I don't know why I don't like Georgia this year. Kirby Smart irritates me for some reason.
But you
but-
said not cover, though.
Yeah, Texas not cover.
But you're still saying you want Georgia to lose.
Yes, it's another one of those.
So
I'm
you're
going
going
with
against your
heart.
your heart.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. I want Texas to win, but I don't think it's gonna. Or I want them to cover.
Okay, so looking at the next game, so Georgia, Texas. Now we're moving into
Yeah.
Penn State, Oregon. And in this game, Oregon is picked by 3.5. Oh, yes, a 3.5. Yes. Just what I dreamed of. Bob Barker time.
Yeah.
I just want to hear the sound again.
You'd put that on repeat, wouldn't you?
Probably that one and this one here.
That thing had 9
Oh,
lives.
yeah.
She just spent them all.
I love that one. I wish there was the one where he's like doing the pumping the poop out of the trailer.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah.
I need to find that clip. That's a good one.
But
We
yeah,
need to get our moose mugs back out again
I
before
know
the
it.
season's
I was
over.
hoping eggnog would be here tonight.
You know, I went to Kroger and they didn't have any. They were sold out. I'm telling you
You
right
said it
now,
sells
they
out,
sell
yeah.
out all the time.
Yeah.
You got to catch it right at the right time to get that eggnog.
the
right at the
old
right time.
eggnog. Yep.
Right at the right time.
You're onto something. Like I believe you in that.
Kroger eggnog is something
Oh,
special.
yeah. We had it, what, 2
It was
weeks ago?
good.
It was good.
It's good. And you know, we got that alcoholic eggnog. You tried something, it ain't that good. And a lot of the fancy eggnogs are not that good either.
Yeah.
But Kroger eggnog, man. And you know, Dad swore by Kroger cottage cheese.
Yeah. I've had, yeah.
He loves Kroger
Yeah.
cottage cheese. He'd
Yeah.
do Kroger cottage cheese and a little bit of that picante sauce, the
Oh, really?
Like the
Yeah,
like
I
a
know.
tomato. Oh, it's good.
Well,
That or
I
or
believe
the
that, but-
cottage cheese with the peaches.
okay. See, one of my favorite things to do is slice up a tomato and then put 4 slices out on a plate and then just plop cottage cheese all over on top
That's the
of
exact same thing. Yep.
it. Yep. So I can see the picante being.
Oh yeah.
That's you just mix that up. That'd be good too. But yeah, man, take a tomato, put
Got them
cottage
tomatoes.
cheese.
That's good stuff right there.
I could eat a whole plate right now.
Yeah. Now I'm getting hungry. We're gonna finish this show up so I can eat.
That's right. So yeah, man, I don't know. I
Oregon,
think,
Penn State, Oregon by 3.5. Reagan says Oregon is going to beat Penn State.
I think. Are
Are they going to cover Reagan? That's the question.
Yeah.
The question is cover, not
And
cover.
that's close enough. I think you just I mean, they could win by a field goal, right? And yeah, if you
They can't win by 2.5 though, right? That's
I
what you
think
told me.
Oregon-
You've explained to me that they cannot win by 2.5.
or any half. 27 and a half or 14 and a half, 117 and a half. They can't do it.
Can't do it.
But anyway,
Don't ever tell me can't, dadgummit.
you know, Oregon's one of those other than following them each week just by reading and looking at the box scores.
I've really
I
not
haven't really
watched any
watched the whole.
games.
Yeah,
I've not watched any games.
yeah.
And you know, for the fact that that Franklin is at Penn State, I haven't watched any games there either.
I've watched a little bit of Penn State, but take that back. I did watch a little bit of Oregon, Wisconsin. I was at T-Bone's house when he had that get together, and he had like 3 TVs going.
Did he?
Yeah, the UT Georgia game, and then he had
And
Oregon,
T-Bone's like serious business over there.
Oregon, Wisconsin.
And he's
was
slacking out with us on the show.
I know it. I told him that. Yeah,
He
I
had one of
talked
the best shows ever, and then all of a sudden,
yeah, pooped out on
pooped
us.
out on us.
Oh well.
Whatever.
Uh,
So I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick with my heart on this one, and I'm gonna root for old James Franklin.
are you really?
He did good things with.
So a no
Vanderbilt,
cover.
so gonna
I'm
say no
going
cover.
Oregon covers.
Yeah, I think
I'm gonna be with Reagan on
picked
that,
Oregon
yeah.
covers. I'm curious to see what Jason thinks, Mr. Notre Dame man. But
He's picking Notre Dame to win this week. During practice, they're not playing, but he's picking them to win.
Notre Dame will beat Oregon and Penn State in a 3-way game somehow or another.
Yeah.
That's another conversation Jason and I were talking about, where it's like, does Notre Dame continue to stay independent? I mean, they've been diehard independent for forever, but in this new model, does it benefit them more to be in a
Because they'll never get a bye.
Because they'll never get a bye. Yeah.
5th seed's the best they'll ever do. I think they jump into a conference.
I was thinking, I feel like Notre Dame would be a Big Ten team. But somebody
By
was
half point. That's awesome.
Jason says Notre Dame by a half point. That's great. That's great. I mean, it seemed like Jason was saying that he thought they'd be ACC because I think that they have
Their
other
basketball's
sports
ACC.
are ACC. So
That's
would
where
be-
they would go.
They would lean more towards ACC. ACC could use another good team.
They could, but regionally and in my mind, what makes
Geographically, it doesn't make any sense.
the best, Big Ten is what they should be.
They
in.
should be Big Ten.
I think they're scared.
But see, you and I still think like the old school thought
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
I mean, Big Ten is not the Big Ten that used to be. Like, I pictured Big Ten being Northeast. SEC is the only one who stayed true to the game, man.
Yeah.
Fairly reasonably.
Yeah.
Which, that was the other thing that I
Oklahoma,
wanted to talk
Texas
about.
kind of throws that off a little
So,
bit.
the obsession, the complete obsession with all of these announcers about SEC teams playing in the cold up north.
Oh, they think it's going to ruin them.
Oh, but did you watch the games on Saturday? There was only one game where there was snow. Only one game had snow. Can you tell me what game that was?
I don't know, to be honest with you. Kentucky?
It was an SEC game. It was Missouri.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So guess what? The only game with snow last week. Oh, it wasn't a Big Ten
Yeah.
game.
Well,
I like turtles.
no. I don't know.
I don't even know what button to hit on this one.
Yeah, I don't either. But
I am the
yeah, there you go. That's a good
That
one.
one fits.
champion.
Um,
No
Time for losers.
'Cause
Yeah.
I am the champion
Of the world.
of the world.
That's my favorite part. Yeah, but Missouri is not your typical SEC team. They used to play in the Big 12.
Yeah, because they're further north. They're the furthest north team, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they're further north than Kentucky, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. Kentucky and Missouri probably play the coldest game.
Pretty close.
Typically at home. I mean, it might matter a little bit, but I don't. I think it's wishful thinking. I'll believe it when I see it.
Well,
That the
and I
cold
mean,
messes with them.
I'm trying to think of how many teams have played in December up north.
Oh, yeah.
Even northern teams.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're playing November, like,
November's cold for them already.
yeah. So,
Especially like Nebraska or
oh, yeah.
it's like Green Bay Packers type weather.
What will Wisconsin? Like, Wisconsin, it's cold in October. I mean,
I'm going trick or treating
Yeah.
in 5 feet of snow today.
yeah. But at the same time, you can say they come down like Wisconsin comes and plays Florida in September.
Oh, they're going to be sweating to death.
Oh, yeah, they would.
I mean, that's a reverse effect, right?
Yeah, yeah. It can go, work either way.
Well, and one of the things that really, before we move off of the Big Ten SEC thing, one of the things that really drove me crazy, and I don't think it happened this week, but the week before, they had the first round being SEC versus SEC to face SEC.
Yeah. Okay.
It was going to be Tennessee, Georgia faces each other, and then the winner of that faces Texas. And I'm sitting here going, how does that make
Okay.
any sense about being an exciting playoff? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
And they had Indiana playing Penn State.
It's like, what?
No. And I honestly,
that defeats the whole purpose of the playoff in the first place.
And I honestly, that's when you were telling me it's just project, like, yeah, I think they're throwing people off. They don't want to.
They're trying to throw people off because they don't want to lead on to what's going to
what they
happen.
really, yeah.
They want it to be the big surprise, the big reveal at the end.
Yeah, and that's fine. Because I think they would go wrong if you had Tennessee go at Georgia in the first round.
That's the stupidest thing.
I can watch that this year. Tennessee
Already watched
went
it.
to Georgia. Why do we want to see
When
that
this goes
again?
back to the SEC championship, right? We've already seen this game.
Yes.
And the former national championship playing was like, oh, we're going to repeat the same game we've
Yeah.
already played this season for
Like-
the national championship game. I'm like, what the?
Yep.
Screw that. I don't want to see the same
In
game
the
again.
first round, I don't want to see it. Once you get going, if two teams, if they've won a game or two in the playoff and then they play each other, okay, that's just the way.
I think they need to try to bracket it
But-
where they don't play the same game
But
again.
first round should not be playing the same
I
team.
feel so passionate about this. I feel the same level of passion about this
Yeah.
as you feel about your 3 teams shouldn't play. 3
And
lost
I'll
teams
get
shouldn't
behind
play.
you, and I'll be as
I just
passionate.
can't. I
Yeah.
can't stand it. I
Yeah.
don't want to see the same game again.
I'm with you. I don't. Not in the first round.
I want to see something new.
Yep. That's what the playoff, because it's supposed to be exciting. Yeah, I do too. I agree. I honestly don't. I'll be shocked if they do have two teams from the same conference playing each other in the first round. I'll be shocked. I don't think it'll happen.
Terrible. Okay, so last
Last pick. Yep.
of all picks, I'm kind of feeling like this is the most interesting one. And this goes back to our
Yes.
conversation about if they're gonna knock somebody out or not, right? Mm-hmm. Clemson is a 3-loss team already,
Yeah.
right? So
Clemson has to win to get in.
this is a have to win, right? Mm-hmm. If they
Must
do
win.
win, though, then now you're shaking it up by saying SMU doesn't get in when SMU is ranked 8.
I think, to me, SMU should deserve to get in. Went off on the run earlier. I don't have to do it again. But
And this is a tight spread. SMU by 2.
yeah, oh yeah, it'll be a close game because Clemson is playing for their lives, right? They're wanting to play. If they want to keep playing this year, they've got to win. I don't think they win though. I'm going to take SMU to cover.
But would they? So this brings up another question that I never thought about. I didn't think about it till just now. So let's say a team gets into the playoffs and loses like the first round, does that mean they don't get a bowl game now? That was their bowl
No,
game.
that's it. No, if you
That's
make
their
the
bowl game,
playoffs,
you're done.
that's your yeah.
That's your bowl game. Either
Yeah.
you win it or don't win it.
Yeah, you're done.
I got to think about this one.
Reagan agrees that same conference shouldn't play each other in the first round. I think.
It's not
I don't
worth
think
it. It doesn't
anyone
make
wants to
doesn't
see
make it
one.
entertaining.
Yeah, no one wants to see that in the first round.
So SMU had one loss, correct?
Yeah, one loss to BYU.
And then BYU lost to Arizona State. Was that who they lost
Yeah,
to?
they've lost two, I believe.
And that knocked BYU out of championship play, and it also knocked
Yeah.
them out of this. Because I think at one point in time they were thinking BYU was
Yeah.
going to be in it.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got two losses. But
And
That's
SMU has
not a-
not played Clemson yet.
no. And to me, a BYU loss is not a bad loss.
Because BYU's been ranked pretty much all season.
Yeah.
Haven't they?
And, you know, they're BYU, a top 25 team. Right. That's not a bad loss in my opinion.
And they've been a top 25 all season.
Yeah. Yeah. They're solid. I don't think they would win the college playoff or anything, but they're a solid team. They're not bad.
They beat Oklahoma State. Who was it that was
Oklahoma State's bad, though.
Who was it the SEC team that Oklahoma State beat? Was that South Carolina?
Arkansas.
yeah.
Yeah.
The one that beat Tennessee.
Yeah.
See, this is what I was talking about. Like, there's a lot of nonsensical wins and losses. Just people didn't show up for games.
But SMU's been pretty solid all the way through. They just lost to BYU. Everybody else they beat, and they
They
should have
beat
beat.
Duke by 1 point.
Duke's 8-4. They're 9-3. 8-4, 9-3. They're not. Duke will surprise you. Yeah, they're 9-3.
They were a 3-loss team.
Yeah, but that's not a bad. Like you're acting like.
No, I'm not. I'm being sarcastic that they're a 3-loss
Oh
team.
yeah.
So they shouldn't make the playoffs because they're a 3-loss team.
And they shouldn't. Duke should not make it. But back to my point, I was telling you, if you look at SMU's schedule, who they've beaten compared to who Penn State has beaten, you would go on paper SMU should get in over Penn State.
I'm trying to find ranked wins. They beat BYU. BYU was the only team that was ranked.
No, they lost to BYU.
But they lost to BYU.
So
they lost to their only ranked team.
Yeah, for some reason ACC's not getting any love, but you look, because I looked at this. Boston College, I think, was 8-4, 7-5, 8-4.
Boston College in 7-5.
Yeah, but most of their
Pitt,
wins.
who they played was 7-5.
Yeah, but they're beating winning teams.
They're
Who
beating
else?
teams that are more than 500 teams.
Yes. And they have not lost. Like that's what.
Did Louisville beat Kentucky? Did they? I can't remember that game.
Oh, that was a good win. Louisville is. Louisville killed Kentucky. They absolutely killed them. Louisville's 8-4, but they're not a bad. That was a decent win. Yeah, they stomped Kentucky. I just, like I said, go and compare SMU to Penn State, compare them to Indiana, and you tell me that.
Well, I saw the ranking. Everybody obsessed about Indiana being one of the lowest.
Yeah. SMU
easiest
schedule's tougher than
schedules.
both of them. But I just don't think a team should be penalized for losing a conference championship game. I just don't. And if you say, well, yeah, they should, well, then do away with it. Do away with the conference championship.
Penn
Everybody.
State beat Minnesota by 1 point.
Yes. Yeah, and you could argue that's their best win against a 7-5 Minnesota team. No, Illinois
They
was their
beat
best win.
USC. When they beat Illinois.
Yeah.
Illinois was ranked at the time.
They were 9-3. I think USC's like 7-5, 8-4. but Washington's bad. Maryland's awful that they won. UCLA's bad. They beat Kent
So
State.
weird saying that UCLA and USC.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Reagan says if Indiana had played an SEC team, they'd get blown out.
yeah.
Yeah, that may be true.
I think SMU should get in, but I think they're going to win, and then there'll be no controversy, and then Alabama's going to get in. That's my fear, though. SMU wins and Alabama gets in.
Yep, I'm going to pick SMU to cover.
I am too.
You sold me on it.
So, yeah, it's fun talk.
Can't change my picks now on the other ones.
No, go on.
SECFootballReview.com.
Yep.
Pick with us. I made my picks.
We're gotten to where we're having a solid 10 people each week.
Thank you so much for picking.
And
I
it's not
appreciate it.
always the same 10. Sometimes it's different. So we appreciate it. I hope you enjoy it. We're trying to, announce it each week who did what to keep you entertained as well and engaged. But it's been fun. And I think next week, once we see where people are, we'll be emotional again.
It's going to be a good weekend.
Yeah.
I think these championship games are something to watch.
And we'll know bowl games and everything next week. So we'll have a lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about. Once again, Michael, what show number is this?
13. Lucky
Man,
13.
Lucky
We're
13.
rolling.
We're rolling.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. This has been a production of Scott Social Media. This is SEC Football Review.
See ya.